Hey, what's up, everybody? Let's make sure my audio is working. Hey, good afternoon, Belmont. Can you hear me? Everything working? I'm not getting any of my own sound, but it looks like it's working, so I don't know what I did. Hey, Grail, how's it going? A little too early for beer, so black cherry, 0 calorie, 0 artificial flavor soda it is. Can't always be beer. Hey, Papa Rick, how's it going? All right, good. So, after doing that interview, I was absolutely excited to try Gamepadla, and I very specifically did not try anything before the interview because I just wanted to hear it from them. So now I want to try it, and I'm going to use a RetroFighter controller that I've already lag tested on Mister, so that we can get a pretty accurate comparison of the difference. Hitting the coffee hard. Yeah, I gave up drinking coffee every day because I just found that it wasn't working. And as much as I joke around about loving beer and weed, I don't ever want to need it. I want to want it, not need it. And that's kind of the way I look at coffee too. So I actually just did have a little bit of coffee, but it's not an everyday thing for me anymore. So this is just for, I saw that one question. This is a way to test the latency of controllers using Mister down to the millisecond, as well as a way that's not as accurate, but super easy. We're going to try both. Ha, that's perfect, Belmont. That is absolutely perfect. Okay. Have the gold Retro Fighters controller. I'm not sure how I feel about the D-pad, but this is great, and it really is. It's by far the easiest way to play N64 games on Mister because it works, everything's fine, and it gets rid of some of those, trying to map buttons like this. I was just talking to Clint about that. Like, how are you going to map buttons like this on most controllers? So it works fine. Let me grab a longer USB cable. With everything labeled now. I get tired of losing everything. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Leave that over here because I'm going to need it again. Yeah, I know I've told the story before, Grail, but it's a quick one. That a while back I got sick and I was getting some headaches, and I never get headaches. And my wife was like, "Oh, well, you quit caffeine a couple weeks ago. Maybe it's that." I was like, "No, it's been a couple of weeks. What are you talking about?" And I started looking up withdrawal of caffeine, and it was terrifying. And it wasn't even just for those people that drink a gallon a day. It was like just your average caffeine drinker. And just for fun, I looked up, I mean, it was pages, by the way, pages and pages of why it's a pretty bad idea to just quit cold turkey. And I looked up the same studies from the same supposedly reputable places about the side effects of daily weed smokers quitting. It was like a paragraph. It was like irritability for a day or two. People who are, who smoke all day long might have trouble sleeping. And it was nothing. It was absolutely nothing. It was like, meh, you don't smoke weed anymore. That's the end of that. That was it. Like, holy crap. This is so different. This is so much less dangerous. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is just start. Now, I don't think we need the webcam view for this. We have the RetroFighter controller plugged in. It's in USB mode, so I think I'm going to share my screen so you can see everything else that I'm doing. Perfect. Okay. So let's also see if I can get the all right. So oh, come on. I get double monitors, so some of the stuff's opening in another window. Okay. So we can see it's being detected. We can see all the buttons are being detected. All right, so we're good there. And I want to start with the all of them. So I already have the, let me just delete this. We can just do one at a time. Polling rate tester. Report this file is safe. I don't want to go through all that crap. Let's just download it. Keep. Not what I wanted to do. Oops. It's been so long since I ran dual monitors. This is a small adjustment. Sorry. All right. Index. So there's only one controller plugged in. So we just hit number 1. Rotate left stick without stopping. Okay. Or do I keep going? I guess I keep going. How many of y'all thought you were going to log in to watch me just wiggle my stick for a couple minutes straight? This isn't a Voltar stream. This is lag testing. So there we go. Polling rate tests. I think this one was the one that I did it without stopping that often. So that's not bad for that one. All right, so let's stop this and try the next one. I don't know. Save. Keep. Number of tests. 1. All right, let's try that again. All right, so here is the test that is not accurate, but it's kind of close. And this is what we were talking about in what I want to talk about tomorrow in the podcast and in the interview about, let's say you've already done what we're about to do next, and you've already soldered your connection, and you've gotten the exact lag rating of whatever this is. And then you repeat that test again with just software. I'm doing it backwards just for this stream. And so you know that you have your real lag test reading, and you do this, let's say, a couple of times, and you always get average of 7. If you go for a hardcore gaming session, not, hey, let me just chill out and play games for a while, but if you're a speedrunner, if you're a pro gamer, if you're about to go online, or if you're just somebody that actually cares about the tools that you use, you could do what I just did. What was that, less than 1 minute? Download that, fire it up, spin your control stick, and you could double check. And you could say, all right, it's been 2 weeks since I've done this test. I'm about to go into a crazy match. Let me run it. All right, I got 7.9 milliseconds this time. All right, it's the same. Cool. But what if you do your match and you run the same test with the same cable, the same port on your PC, and you got like 30 milliseconds? Something's up. And how would you have known without this? So sure, it's not as accurate. It gives you a basic idea, and maybe it will be. Maybe this will match what we see later. But that's what I think this is key for. So giving you a basic idea, but also a 30-second to 1 minute way of double checking your setup. And I just think that one is crucial. And I know a couple of my friends, I can imagine Carsey doing this every time he fires up a PC game to play. A lot of people, actually. I could probably list off at least 20 people that I personally am friends with that are probably going to do this exact thing. Because I've always had a very strong opinion about losing video games. If I lose because the other person is more skilled than I am, I'm totally okay with that. I probably have a good time playing. It'll be a lot of fun. But if I lose because the tools that I'm using suck, I feel like an idiot and I'm pissed. It's like when people show up with their own controller. Imagine if you just, I'm used to my controller, and then you find out your controller's got 35 milliseconds latency and somebody else's has 3. So this is the type of stuff that I think is way more important than people give it credit for. And sure, there's going to be a ton of people that just do the software tests and try to act like this is the number, and maybe it is, but I just think that this is perfect. So I'm going to screenshot this. I'm going to save it, and then we are going to do the hardware test, which should give us a much more accurate thing. So let me, all right. I'll check the chat in a second too. Just saving this off. All right. Let me jump in and check the chat here. Hey, Jared, how's it going? I'm going to lag test anyone I beat who blames their controller. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of real upset Smash players. It was the lag. It was the lag. No, it's not. No, it isn't. You lost because you lost. That's that. All right, so we get ready to open this sucker up. I'm just closing off the Gamepadla software. And all right, let's do a couple of things. So I'm going to fire up my soldering iron. And here is an Arduino, and I'm going to need some wires for it, but this is just the very basic version. I think you could use the exact same one as the Mr. Lag tester. Let me see, is this going to focus? Yes, no? Hey, not bad. So we just have to solder 2 wires to this, and that's basically it. So let me grab controller wires. Let's see. So I'm going to do this a couple of ways, and this is what I'm going to recommend that other people do. So let me get out my giant box of wires here. I got so much crap in here. It's going to take me a second just to get to wires. Anybody here have candy cabs? I got the candy cab coin button project here. I'd be willing to give my whole thing away to somebody that would actually use them. Most of the people I know either already have a solution or they're like, yeah, it's neat, but not for me. So no disrespect to them, and they weren't disrespecting me. I just don't want to give this stuff away to people that don't really give a shit about it. All right, so is this too thick? It might be. Let's see. Because I wanted to use slightly thicker wire for the Arduino side, just so... Yeah, it's definitely too thick. There's no doubt. All right. I don't even know why I got wire that thick, to be honest with you, but... Probably ordered it by accident, like I did so much other stuff over the years. All right, this should work, and I'm going to use... Let's see, green and blue, because that one thing in the video, which is linked in the description, by the way, but in the video, I don't think Anna specified which is ground and which is signal. So I'm going to use two colors that don't really have a connotation of either, and then just leave myself a note, or maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's something that auto detects. I don't know if that's even possible, but... we will try it out. I'll keep an eye on the chat as well if anybody has any questions. You have a Nomad you need to set up? Do you have a working... Oh, a Naomi. Ha, ha, ha. I have a Nomad with a busted screen, and I've been waiting for Oleg's version to come out. But I think he's finally been able to get a good screen, but the problem was the consistency of the screen. He had a bunch of people, a bunch of companies be like, yeah, our screens are perfect, here's a sample. And then he's like, okay, that's good, let me buy 5 more. And then the ones that they sent after that weren't nearly as good as the one sample. And he was like, well, I can't make a large order of these, what the hell? So I think he finally found one that wins the good enough award. It's still going to be better than most other choices at the moment, but that's what I'm waiting on before I upgrade the Nomad. To be honest, that's one of those things where personal opinion is all that matters, and I don't really know what the right thing to do is, because I think the way I would suggest most people approach the Sega Nomad is get Oleg's kit because it's 100% reversible. And it's one of those things where, like, if you actually game on it, using a much better screen would be a huge upgrade. But if you have it mostly for collector's purposes, or you only play it like once a year, I would probably not add anything. I'd probably just, like, I don't almost never use my Game Gear, and it's been recapped, and the screen is as good as the original could possibly be, good in quotes. But that's not something that's that big of a deal to me, and when I do play it, I actually want the original experience, just to have that terrible ass screen. But I mean, if I cared about screen quality, I'd have gotten an analog pocket. So that's kind of one of those things that, yeah, I might, I would love to test Oleg's, but at some point I'm going to put my Nomad back to original with a good working screen, not the dead screen I have, and go from there. I've been waiting for that to finish before we did an interview too, but that dude is awesome. Every time I've talked to him, it's always a blast. Like, I always get a little sad afterwards, like, man, I wish we were just sitting at a bar together, having a drink, or a coffee shop or something. Like, that's seems like one of us. All right. So let me double check. Oop, I just did the wrong, I just screwed up. Hold on. Let me... Hopefully I fixed the description. I went to go click on the installation video and it was, all right, there we go. That's much better. So I believe fucking ads. I believe the installation video says, actually I just totally forgot what pins. So let's just do this. D2 and D3. All right. Should be a very easy connection. This is about as basic as it could possibly get for soldering as well. All we really have to do is just add some solder. Let's in fact, if you're starting out and you're like, oh, you know, I'd like a project to kind of practice on, something like this is perfect. You solder 2 points, and then you have to solder to a controller. So start with an older controller with bigger points, and that's it. One in. Super solid. Doing the other one. Even more solid. Good. Man, those glasses still make me dizzy every time I wear them. I'm just going to snip that tiny little bit off the bottom. So, Alex, funny you mentioned that. I talked about this in the interview, and then I followed up with a friend of mine who's been working on a custom Linux distro for us. And the purpose mainly would be something like, hey, I want to boot to a USB stick to do some kind of testing, and I don't want to worry about my existing installation messing with it. Whether it's, even if you're already running Linux or something, if you have a whole bunch of stuff that, that boots when your PC boots, it could slow things down. So adding something like this to that means you would boot to your USB stick, and then nothing else would be running. So then you could run this lag tester, and you wouldn't have to worry about Windows skewing it. And that is something you're going to have to worry about. And once I get my Mr. Lag tester reset up again, I think I want to redo that and start comparing controllers with both methods to see how much Windows skews the results. Which shouldn't be drastic. It shouldn't be like, holy crap, like you can't trust Windows. But there are definitely scenarios where Windows messes things up. I don't know whatever happened to the FGCOS project, but the testing that they were doing was mind-blowing. I mean, the latency, the overall total latency they were reducing was not at all what I would have expected. I mean, I knew Windows was laggy, but it was impressive to see. So, all right. So what I'm doing here is what you would have to do every time you wanted to do some of the serious lag tests. Disassemble the controller and solder to the points. Obviously the Arduino, you only have to flash once, and you only have to solder those 2 points once. All right. So take this apart. Am I missing a screw here? No. Just being extra careful. I like this controller. All right, taking the back off. Unplugging the battery. If I remember correctly, there was a couple more screws. Yeah, 1, 2, maybe just 2. We'll find out. Yeah, I love this screwdriver. Absolutely. This was Dan Citrus, before he decided he didn't like me and he was going to be really mean to me publicly, suggested this one. Still don't know what the hell happened. That was odd and sad. All right, so we'll take these out. We'll flip this over. I'm just being ultra careful. I could probably just yank on this thing and have it pop right out, but I just don't want to. All right, so that's right, there's a flex cable in here. All right, let me remove that. Yeah, that's gonna be fun to put back together, huh? What I go through for science. So one of the things that they had shown in their video was, rather than soldering to the controller, because this is just a temporary connection that you're going to need some readings, just taping it across the sides. I thought that was a really good idea. I hadn't thought of that before. So I'm going to try that as well. And I have some Kapton tape so we can see through it. What's my favorite controller of all time? I mean, SNES controller and Genesis 3-button controller tied, which is not what most other people think, I'm sure. You have to remember, people as old as me, though, if you went from the NES controller, which was good, or even the Atari 2600 controller, which was just before my time. I did eventually get one at like a yard sale, but that was, not what I grew up with. But if you're used to those, and then you jump on a Genesis 3-button controller, what a massive upgrade. All right, so I think I want to start by then flashing the Arduino software. So I'm going to switch back over to a, I guess I'll leave the soldering iron out in case we need it, but I'll switch back over to the desktop capture to show how to do that. This is, I believe you're only going to have to do this once and once only, just like with all Arduino things and like the Mister. So let's set over for that now. Yeah, thanks, Grail. There's a lot of people that I've worked with that just don't like me, or they don't like me anymore, but they still respect me. And sometimes it's just because they're good people and not everybody can get along. There's nothing wrong with that. But also because I've made a lot of people thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. So just turning on somebody that hard, I never understood. Do you not like money? Like, is the ego that bad that you would rather not have as much money as you would have because you would prefer being a dick? Like, there's been 2 people in the past year or 2 groups of people, I guess, that did that. I just couldn't understand it. It is what it is. All right, so let's see what we have here. And no connected game pads found. So I think we have to go to get the Arduino stuff. This video is linked in the description, so anybody who's curious about it, That's where you can get it. But where do we have the link to the Arduino stuff? Is that it? Gamepadla. Now, they say try using a resistor to lower the voltage down. I think that really depends. But, you know, I could try that too. I could see if I could find a 1.5K resistor. We talked about that in the interview. I've never done that for any of the lag testing I've done. And I also, the stuff that we used was also Arduino based. So, I don't know. What do you all think? And now I'm going to try to find the... I think, is it just that? It could be. Yes. Well, that's nice. Let me check the chat real quick. See-Through Head, where did you find the Gamepadla stuff? How did you figure... Because I found out about it from Robert from Retro Fighters, which I think is an awesome sign, by the way. But... I've never heard of USB lag either, but there are, I knew for a fact there are a bunch of projects out there that do similar things that I think would work fine. It just, it's not updated, it's not, there's no database involved like there is here, so I think that's something to keep in mind. So I think we already ran it, right? I think all I have to do is upload it. Tools, board. This is the Nano, right? I think it's the Nano. Hold on, let me check. Gamer Heaven Official on YouTube? That's pretty cool. I'm looking them up real quick while I'm double checking the version of the Arduino that I got. This is the Arduino Nano CH340. Are joysticks within it? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. No. Hold on. Hold on. I have to switch it back. I have to switch it back to show you. What a total fucking moron. It couldn't find the Arduino. I wonder why. Can you all think of a reason why maybe my computer couldn't have found the Arduino board? Oh, I love live streams. Oh man, that's funny. All right, let's plug this sucker in and try that again. One thing I will mention is that don't do this through a USB hub. It won't hurt it, but it might not work at all. So let's, yeah, I can switch back now that you've all. All right, let's try that again. No upload. I think I just have to find the port that it's connected to. So, or maybe I have to restart the Arduino, and I'll double check the port. Manage. I'll do this, make sure to do this on screen so you all can see it too. Device manager. No, ports, here we go. So that would be COM3. The CH340 is that Arduino. So let's load this back up. Arduino Nano. Port COM3 is selected. Done uploading. That's it. And this process you only have to do once. Once that's set, you don't really have to deal with any of this anymore. So I am going to, so that's all set, and then we could leave that plugged in. Let me set this back. I won't need, or I shouldn't at least need this for a while, if at all. So let me move this out of the way, and I'll slide this back to be closer to the PC. Careful, careful, careful. Don't knock everything over. Or do, but just make it funny at least. All right. So what do you all vote? Add the resistors, don't add the resistors? I'm definitely going to try the tape method just because I've never tried it before. And if there was ever a time to try a non-permanent, definitely wouldn't recommend for mods method, it's when you're going to do something for a minute and a half and then put it back the way it was. Couldn't think of a better reason for that. I don't know. The Mr. controller latency is basically the same thing, but using Mr. So this is, yeah, try them both. That's a good idea, Belmont. I'm just only afraid that maybe if I don't use a resistor, I'm going to blow this out. But try them both is probably a good way to do it. So I'm going to see if I have one that's recommended. It was a 1.2K, I believe. But yeah, we talk about this in the interview, but basically, if you already own a Mr., then that's probably the way to go because you don't have to worry about Windows at all. But the entire purpose of what they did was so that you don't need to go out and buy a Mr. And that was one of the points that they made that I thought was great, in that, you know, if you already own a Mr., great, but if you don't, then why would you go spend a couple $100 just to test latency? And if you're a controller company, yeah, you're damn right you should. But if you're, you know, if you're just a person, no. All right, 1.5K. I have 1.1K quarter watt. That should be more than enough. So let's give that a try and see what happens. I'm even going to get fancy and add some heat shrink tubing. I think I even have the colors that match too. Yeah, perfect. So. See-through head, I couldn't possibly agree more. For, you know, you can get on AliExpress, you can get one of these for $3. I got a 3-pack delivered for under 20 the next day on Amazon because I wanted this to arrive as quick as possible. So I just, you know, this is definitely something where, especially if you're a controller company of any kind, you got to just buy this thing. And pro gamers, if you could solder, definitely. If not, you know, at least do the software version. All right, so I guess you know what? I guess I do need that. Hold on. Yeah. Thanks, Mutt Mutt. You know, I obviously really love doing these streams, but I'm always worried. Like, when I do a walkthrough step-by-step thing like this, I wonder if somebody's going to see like a 90-minute stream and go, I don't have 90 minutes to lag test my controllers or something like that, not realizing that, like, I'm going slow, step by step. I'm showing every bit of the process just to try and, you know, give people an idea. And it's like, if you wanted to set this up for yourself for the very first time, you probably could have been done already. I'm just hanging out and, you know, taking my time having fun. And once you're done, like, the time it takes to disassemble the controller and tape 2 wires to a pad is all it's going to take. So I hope this stuff isn't misleading. The live streams I've done where I do hardware demos first and then do game streaming afterwards don't do well at all. And I understand it because, you know, if you're just like, hey, I want to learn about the Virtual Boy, why are you going to want to watch a 2.5-hour video when there's others out there that are much shorter? Not realizing that the first 20 minutes is all the info and the rest is game streaming. So I guess the YouTuber thing to do would be re-upload, but I wish I had time for any of that. I'm a little extra careful about clipping off resistors and stuff just kind of floating around my house because there's been many times where I'm just walking barefoot and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I look down and like a piece of resistor is sticking out of my foot. So I'm a little bit more anal about that now. It's not just being a slightly OCD neat freak. It's I'm tired of getting stabbed in my own foot. Yeah, it's funny. I did get rid of a lot of prototypes, but I had a lot. I had a lot of good stuff out there. I probably could have funded somebody in the scene who was really into this with exactly that, just a bunch of prototypes. I still have that the Voltar 2-chip SNES in a clear case, and I also have a the Opetus modded both are Super Famicoms, not SNES, but I have both of those I gotta sell at some point soon too. Let me tin these things. All right, this is always tricky. Maybe I stab this in. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Not a bad idea. Nice. Real solid. Not the prettiest looking, but solid. Not solid. Let me try that again. Not good enough. Man, I got that first one perfect. Solid, perfect. All right. All right. One more. All right. I'm going to turn off my iron just because, well, my luck, I'll burn myself. So we have you had a cap leg in your smallest toe last night. Oh no, that sucks. Did having a resistor on your foot make it harder to walk? Durf, these are just regular glasses because I'm getting old. But I only really use them for soldering and reading very small things. Like when I'm, I bought some CBD the other day and I couldn't read any of the writing. And I'm in the store like my dad, like holding them really far away. Like, I can't, can you read this for me, Sonny? I can't see the words that are written on the poor girl behind the counter was just like, sure. What? Like, oh, I'm sorry. All right. So we have I'll fix up the heat shrink tubing a little better afterwards, but we have that all set. And I'm going to just tape them to the edge, and then I'll pick up the camera and get it in focus after. I think it'll just be easier for me to tape it first and then show you. Oh, boy, that's painful. I had like a weird looking, it was like a decorative thumbtack thing stuck in one of my rubber flip-flops, but it was only, like, it wasn't as long as the flip-flops were deep. So when I walked on it, I never felt it, except whenever I like jumped or like put extra pressure down. And when it would like pinch a little bit. And I'm like, man, what the hell? Why does my foot keep hurting? Is it like dry skin or something? And then I don't know what made me look at the bottom because it kind of like blended in, and I grabbed a pair of pliers and pulled it out, and I realized like every time I just stepped too hard, it was just stabbing me in the bottom of the foot. All right. So let's see what happens with this. The Winnie the Pooh trying to read a paper meme, yeah, that's fitting. That's very fitting. It's also perfectly plausible for me to get my hand stuck in a honey pot. I would totally swim upstream for a salmon. Oh, this checks out. This checks out. All right, so that's connected. That's plugged in. Let me go back to the other view so you could all see this. You had a glass splinter in your eye for several years? How did you get that out? Dude, you got some crazy stories. We gotta just set a date and just do a live stream. Or not even a live stream, just a podcast. You know what we should do? I'm gonna eat an edible. And then we should do it. And that way, if I make a complete ass of myself, you know, fine. But, all right. No gamepads found. Okay, so just another stupid mistake. I forgot to plug the gamepad in. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Monty? I think I have another long USB cable here. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Actually, let's leave it up and try it after I plug it in. Let me hit Control D. So, Grail, here's the only thing that I'm nervous about. When I'm drunk, I talk even more too much than I do now. And I'm loud and I'm silly. And while sometimes I say shit I don't really mean, it's all in silliness. Like, I never have to worry about, like, saying something awful because I don't think those things. Or if I do, I would say them sober anyway. But stoned, I might just not talk. And so that's why I don't really do it at all live, especially, but I don't really do it as part of, no, this isn't working. So that would be my biggest fear, is that, I would eat it before the stream, and as soon as it kicked in, it would be like, I would just be silent, just listening to Belmont talk, and then occasionally be like, oh, that's cool. Very much a home smoker. All right, let's try this again. We are connected. Let me move this over. All right, available COM ports. So yes, that's the exact one. The COM3 that we found before, CH340. That's obviously the same controller. 1-pin connection for cable mode. Let's try that. The test has started, but are we making connection? That might be it. We might not have a connection on the board. So I'm going to try pulling the tape off and just kind of holding it down with my hands to see what happens. Nope. I'll try another button. That must have been it. Hold on. I guess I could try reversing them, because we never figured out if there was a signal in ground. I'll try taping it back. All right, they're taped to different pins. Maybe the resistor wasn't the best idea. Let me double check. D2 and D3, so that is what I had it soldered to, and that's what it said in the video, right? Yep, D2 and D3, so that's correct. basically the same method I used. Let's just try running it again. What's up, Tech? How's it going? I'm not sure about the polling rates, Phantom Knot, but that's a good question. We could try a default next, too, and see if that happens. So let's just give it a minute and see. Probably not. Let me try the other method in a second. Monty once had a nail in their shoe around the big toe, but they can't feel pain in that foot? Oh, no! Oh, that's horrible. I have to go into streamer mode. One of my friends is not realizing I'm live. Alright, so if that's not working, let's try again, but with the other mode. And if not, I could try without the resistors, and I could also try scuffing up the resistors. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not making a good connection. And let's try default. No, odd. Alright. Yay, live streams. I bet you I'm doing one very stupid thing, and it's not even a big deal. So let's just port Arduino Nano. Let's just do this again. Let's upload it again. Done compiling, uploading, done uploading, and we'll just leave this on. I'll leave this up and see what happens. COM3, yep. Yes. So in their video, when they did this, I'll show you what their video said. That's how quickly it went. Let's try this again. Maybe this is just different software. I don't think so. No, because that's just the other way of doing it. So this is the latest version, and this is the correct version. And also, when I hit number 1 here to select this device, the light flashed on the Arduino. So it's definitely reading it. That's for sure. And we know it's reading the controller. Nothing. I have another idea though. Did I unplug the Arduino? No, but that was a very fair question. Very fair question. I hate how settings are so much harder to get to in Windows 11. All right, so let's check this out. So button 2 is pushed down. So that means, let me remove this. And now it's not. So it was absolutely reading. All right. So let's open up this tester again. We don't need Arduino up anymore. It's flashed. We read it, so we see that the button. All right, that was the connection. Huh. Interesting. Anybody have any ideas as to what I'm doing wrong here? I guess I could just remove the resistors and try again, but let me check the Oh, geez, Monty, motorcycle accident? Oof. Oh, no, you cooked the inside of your thigh? Oh, that sucks. Hey, old kid. Power cycling the Arduino is not a bad idea at all. So in fact, let's even do that with the controller, and let me plug the controller into a completely different port. You know, what controller that is totally relevant here. Let me pull that up. This one. And the lag tests I got. No, what was it? There we go. So USB averaged 3.3 milliseconds of latency. That's what we're looking to verify, and this is the exact controller. I'm testing the gold version, so I'll drop that in the chat for anybody. So we're verified that that's still there. Oh, hold on, that popped up in the other window. And oh. COM3. Let's open this up and test again. Options, manage. Not seeing the Arduino now. Odd, but all right, let's try that again. Yep. Yeah, weird. Good idea about unplugging the Arduino, because that could have. I've definitely seen stuff like that before. Only when the Arduino's power show is pressed. That's a very good point. So it does not show pressed at all now. Let me make sure that it's not my tape setup. Okay, so power unplugged from the Arduino, no button pressed. Plugged back in, button press. So that's confirmed. That was a good idea. That was a real good idea. I mean, maybe it's reversed. Maybe maybe I should just try that again. Let me try switching them back to the other sides and seeing what happens. So, tape is on, no button is lit. We plug this back in here. COM3 is on. My wire moved here. Okay, wire's back on. Oh, come on. Serious? I think I'm on the right. Here we go. Let me just hold it with my finger. Run as administrator can't hurt. I don't think it would have gotten that far without it, though, but... Interesting that the button doesn't show as pressed now. Well, I guess let's try it without the resistors. Let's just give it a good old snip and see. You know, I really liked the idea of taping this down. I wish there was a way I could have guaranteed that, but or verified that a little more. But all right, let's just do it like this. All right, so the Arduino is not plugged in. You know what? Let me just solder to it. Right? It's not like I could ever own something to use. Gotta own it to destroy and lag test. So whatever. I've gotten used to that. At least if I short this out, I could probably politely ask them to send me a replacement board, because at the end of the day, we are just proving over and over that this is a low latency controller. So, you know what? Let me unplug that too, just in case. All right, hopefully that didn't bridge, but one easy way to tell, multimeter. Yeah, old kid, you could definitely do that, but and that might even be a safer way, but I would sacrifice this controller for the lag testing gods. So no beep, beep. So there is no short. Didn't think there was, but never hurts to check. Damn it. All right. So plugging the controller in first. All right, that's still reading. No buttons are lit. Now I'm going to plug the Arduino in. I should have closed that. Yeah, definitely. Now that button is lit, COM3 is up. Serial port. Yeah, let me message John and see. Hey, what's going on, Mike? Neil? Yes, I was just falling all over. That's just typical for me. I could try to do a serial port sniffer to see what's happening, but this is just kind of disappointing because this should have just worked. What I can do is I can try a different USB port, and I've absolutely had this stuff happen before, no doubt in my mind. So let's reverse the USB ports. Let me carefully bring that closer. Plug the controller into this one. Plug the Arduino into that. Now it's showing COM4, no problem, no problem. That's good. That means we're trying something different here. All right, so COM4, beautiful. Xbox controller, alternative, still nothing. Try the other method just for the hell of it now. Same thing, COM4. Oh, okay. So I just tried the default, not number 2. So all that testing in the beginning, it did seem like then the resistors were what you would not want to use, at least on this particular controller. So this is why I wanted to start with the resistors. So I think that's a good thing to note. Start with resistors. If it doesn't work, take the resistors out, and then just try both modes if you want to. part of the controller did? I seriously don't think so, but we'll find out after. Yeah, this is wired right now. Yeah. So average latency 6.63, and then average latency 3.3 on Mister. So that is definitely different. The polling rate could be part of it, though. Let's run it again. Let's just run it again. Well, see through head, this could be wireless as well. This is just in wired mode. But yeah, let's not do that yet, and let's just run this again to see. Now, but we should also note that this is the PC that I'm currently streaming on. I got a million web windows open. OBS is open. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So that could be a very good reason as to why this is happening. I think it's all 5 volts, to be honest with you. I think it's all just the same 5-volt USB voltage. I could be wrong, but we'll see. I messaged John. I don't know. I didn't tell him I was doing this. I didn't even know I was going to be able to have the time to do this. So that's why I just kind of did it very quickly. But I'll message him again to say that it's working and to jump to like the hour and 10-minute part. Yeah, Grail, it's working. I think with this controller, I shouldn't have used the resistors, but I'm still very happy that I did first, so I didn't blow it out. But I think that's the issue. The only other thing is the default method seems to have worked, not the alternative. All right, open results on the website. Gamepad name. What is the exact gamepad name? Brawler 64. Yeah, it's just Brawler 64. Cable. So you know what we could probably do that might be interesting is connect it via Bluetooth. Do I have Bluetooth on my stupid computer here? I don't even remember. I was using the 1-pin method, but so that's the only other thing that I don't really understand why that wasn't happening. We could try the other one again just to see. So USB 1, and alternative method. Yeah, nothing. Just sits here. Interesting. All right, so let's close these. I'm going to unplug the Arduino just for the hell of it. Now I'm going to unplug the wired controller and see if I could find it via Bluetooth. And see what that's going to be. Yeah, I'm not sure what it means either, and I'm doubting if it's accurate, which isn't an insult. I'm just saying, like, what they showed on that video is different than what I'm seeing. So there's definitely a new version in here. Bluetooth. So let's see. How do I forgot how I connect this one. Where's the button to do that? I'm completely drawing a blank as to where the sync button is on this thing. Oh, I might need to connect that. This is might be a pain, but it's worth it. Let's all right, I think in order to do this properly, I have to connect this flex cable back into place. You know, I think it's best if I remove that board to do that. Do I have a flatter head? Yeah, that one much better. All right, so, all right, I got the buttons. Those are blinking, nothing on the screen yet. You know, it could be a different board revision, but I just can't imagine Retro Fighters would have a different board revision and a different Bluetooth chipset for a different color controller. Also, I guess it's good to know they didn't just paint the controllers, they actually made gray controller, or gold controllers. Two, three. Let's it's gonna be such a pain in the ass to put back together. Oh boy, I could feel it. So where's the bottom? Is there any button here on the bottom I should be pressing? Yeah, there is one. Is there like a sync button back here or something? Yeah, that was it. It was in the back. Ha ha ha! What an ass. Sorry. My bad. Okay, Bluetooth X input compatible device. Properties. Wait, I should go back to the other view. I'm sorry. Let me go back to this view. So everything still seems to be working. Let me plug the Arduino back in. And let's run this again in Bluetooth mode and see what happens. So still the same USB serial connection. That's the controller. We actually are in wireless mode this time. Oh, Durf, that's exactly what I've been talking to somebody about doing. So, uh, and I don't want to repeat for anybody that's been here since the beginning, but basically imagine you boot from a USB stick to a version of Linux that has test tools. So MD Fourier compatible audio capture and this code too. I think this would be pretty awesome. But this is the first steps. And listen, even if they're skewed by results or by Windows results, like this is still easier and so much farther ahead than posting no results whatsoever. I should message John that it's working now. Put it on a Raspberry Pi with a touchscreen and let you run tests by navigating them via the gamepad. That is a fucking great idea. That is a great idea. Well, it's running a couple thousand results. That's why it's slow. But yeah, I like that idea a lot. And then you just have like punch down terminals for wire connections. Yeah, that's a great idea. I really like that. Setting the polling rate, it's definitely something that I'll talk to John and see if he could add. Because that's another thing is, if you can jack the polling rate up, you're obviously going to get faster results if it's compatible. So average latency 21. So this is much different than what I got. Now remember, this isn't the exact same controller, but it is the same. They're both Brawler 64s. So, and I don't have, I sent my Mr. kit away. I got to build another one of those, but that's interesting. So what's funny is the software test I ran is actually closer, closer to what I got on Mr. Brawler 64, Bluetooth, yeah. No, I haven't set up WSL, and I got to take off sorta the same, or sorta soon. I mean, so let me disassemble this all, and let's see if I'm able to actually get this controller back together and working, or if I just completely screwed it up. But I love this, and this is going to be the first of many live streams I do with this because I have a feeling with some basic tweaks we can get both Windows and hopefully even a Linux version working well. All right. I also want to remove this controller. All right. So when I turn it on in Bluetooth mode to try to sync to something else, it doesn't come here. That's good. 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 All right. All right. So let's start getting this thing back together and see if I did it or not. So, anybody have any better ideas? Whenever I try to clean up pads like this, what I usually end up doing is taking some desolder braid, dipping it in a little bit of solder paste, and removing it that way. So, got my lubed up stick, and it's mostly clean. And then I just take some isopropyl and a Q-tip. Yeah, Jared, this is exactly why I love doing streams like this. I think if I had the time, what I should be doing is doing these live streams, and then as soon as they're over, cutting them up to like 10-minute versions to get people the quick word out. But unfortunately, I just don't have time to do that. But yeah, this is exactly why I like it. Now, you've sat here, you've watched me make every mistake, you watched me power it on without the thing plugged in, and now when you go to do it, rather than taking 2 hours or hour and a half or whatever it was, you're going to do it in 15 minutes. And that's what I really love about these, is just walking through in real time, making all the mistakes with me, so you don't have to. I love this, though. I think this is awesome. The only thing I want to nail down is the wording in that, method 1, method 2. I think it's just the wording was off. And I want to try to work with my friend to get that built into Linux, so we could just have a version that I boot from a USB stick. And if that works, See-Through Head, your idea was really great. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Raspberry Pi, but any low-powered computer with a screen on it that I could just do this, I think would be incredible. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to leave that as a note. Make a version that runs via Raspberry Pi GPIO pins and doesn't need an Arduino. And you could probably even use one of those the cheap Pis, like the not the compute modules, but like I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but the really cheap ones, like the $20 ones. All right. So let's see what I'm going to do here. So I got my lag tester over here. I got to put the buttons back in, always fun. Can you use it? This is like I know this is probably the least fun part of the stream, but I still want to see if I can get it back together. Pi Zero, thank you both. Thank you. Let me raise this up so you can see the angle of my fumbliness even better. I still like this webcam. I'm still glad I got it. It definitely isn't as good as it should be for that price. That's the Kio Razor. It's still the best webcam I've ever used, but I don't know. I just, sometimes I see stuff and I see the potential that it has, and it just pisses me off when it doesn't live up to what it could. When I say that, I mean that about every device I test. I'm just double checking, because how many times have you all put a controller back together just to realize that one final thing that you plugged in wasn't in all the way, so you have to take the whole thing apart again. It's basically almost every time I do this, so. All right. All right, this thing, I don't even remember how that one went in. So, oh, this is going to be tricky. All right. Get just one screw in, work the rest through. Wait, did I forget to put the D-pad? Ah, ha, 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 ah, yeah, I knew it, I knew it. It is infinitely easier to take apart old school style controllers, that's for sure. Here we go. Are there any like Raspberry Pi style kits that already have a little LCD screen built in? Or is there like a screen kit for the Pi Zero that that people could just order? Because I'm definitely digging the whole do-it-yourself nature of this. All right, this screw's going to be a problem. I can already feel it. Come on. No, got lucky. Okay. I can't remember. Are the weights supposed to go on the very bottom? Yeah, probably. Probably supposed to be like that. There was this thing. More over here. Was there one more screw up there? Am I going to find a... How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many are on the back? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So maybe not. There's no other screw on the table or anything. Yeah, maybe not. All right. So I'm not going to bolt it together yet, but let me just... All the buttons work, so let's plug this sucker in. And both of the vibrations worked. I can just pull up that controller real quick. Any little Adafruit screen can be used with the Pi. Thank you. That's kind of cool. Ronnie, try assembling an Atari 7800 controller. Learning a Marty Friedman solo by ear is much easier. That's awesome. All right, so let's see what we got. That's working. That's working. The L button isn't working. All right. Let's see what we got. That should be an easy one. That was an easy one. That's all it was. I just had to loop the plastic back around. All right, let's try that again. And we might be out of here. All right. That's everything. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got all the buttons, both of the axis. We already tried those. We got this. We got that. So I did not break the controller. I have seen the open source latency testing stuff, but I have never used it. Is it like this? And you've all probably heard me drone on about this before, but unless I'm very comfortable with what I'm working on, I actually don't use an electric screwdriver to reassemble plastic. Like if it was a Super Nintendo or a Genesis, I think it's burned into my brain exactly how long it takes to screw a screw in. So I'm not going to go too far. But this is the first time or second time I've ever opened one of these. So I'm just going to be very gentle and just do it by hand. Oh, wait a minute. I have used it. You get the total latency, correct? The total, not just the just controller or just display. I think that's it, right? Sorry, reconnect that. One last screw. We'll call this a success. I really do like this controller, by the way. I don't think I left an affiliate link in the description, so you know I'm not, I'm not just pushing it for a couple of clicks. Like, on Mister, it is definitely the N64 controller I'll be using. And I even also used it for some shooters, because you really only have 2 buttons for most shooters. And then I used, even if they didn't support analog, I used this for, you know, for steering. I thought it was really cool. I liked it. All preference though. If you don't, it's totally fine too. All right, so I am just going to clean up, and if anybody has any questions, now's the time, because I probably got 2 or 3 minutes before I'm taking off then. But this was awesome. I learned a lot. I'm going to follow up with John as soon as I can to try and get just a little bit of feedback. At the very least, just figure out what was wrong with the button or press 1, press 2 thing. But other than that, I think this is a success. I just think it needs, some kind of way to eliminate other variables. Like as we talked about right now, I have OBS running. I got so many things running all at the same time. So streaming on the same PC I was using this on might not have been a fair thing, but I think that's why having some kind of USB boot would be perfect. So I'll follow up with my friend. I loved that idea of having a dedicated thing. Jared, I think you could use an Uno as well. I think. I'm 99%. Because I think I heard Anna say in the video that she liked the Nano because it was cheaper, but you could use any Arduino. But well, I think as long as it just has access to ports D1 and D2, I think that would be it. I'm going to put my controller back on the shelf where I'm going to tell myself I'm definitely going to use it to play games, and I'm probably not. It's probably going to sit here until I need to do another controller test or something. What do I think about the Logitech F30? I can't remember off the top of my head which one that is. Hey, Chameleon. Oh, John, okay. Here, hold on. If you're still here, let me stick around 1 second, please. Let me put this view back. Here we go. All right, so I think, here, in order to show you, I think I could just plug any controller in. I don't think I actually have to, even if we don't run the test. Here, let me do this real quick, just so I could demo what we're doing here. So there's one thing that I wasn't sure of that it would be great if you could clarify. All right, so no connected gamepads found. I got it right here. Let me just plug in another controller, a USB controller, really quick. I'm not even going to solder the wires. I'm just going to plug it in just so we could run the test. Try that again. All right, so USB port, 8-bit DO controller. So here, right here, whenever I ran alternative for cable mode, so I was plugged in with a USB cable into the computer, and I had both of the pins wired to the controller like you normally would, it wouldn't work at all. It just kind of hung there. But when I used number 1 default, that worked for both the wired and wireless. So, and I noticed this looks a little bit different than in Anna's video. so maybe this is just a newer revision. Would you mind just kind of clarifying? Oh, Ash, me too. I have to. I try not to be that grumpy old man that has to use the PC the same way forever. I try to adapt. Also because, you know, like most of us probably are, my whole family's tech support, so I want to be able to see what they're seeing. But that whole show file extensions thing, I can't live without. That's maddening that would be hidden. Also, See-Through had a great question. Is it possible to make a version that runs on the Raspberry Pi GPIO pins instead of an Arduino? That way we could just make a Raspberry Pi image for it. You could still get one of those Pi Zeros very, very cheap. And everything could be contained right there. You could possibly even add a little screen to it and have a dedicated lag testing device. Funny, Durf, I have a folder on my computer where I have a text file that I save all of those, but I still have the power config-h off memorized because I never use hibernate mode. So why would I want that constant file on my PC? Yeah, Ash, that whole file name saving thing drives me crazy. All right, Google Translate, here we go. Alternate mode is required to connect gamepads on one wire instead of two. And this only needs to be done when it won't work with two. So you should always use default mode. I should probably help you with the wording just to make it a little bit clearer because especially for people whose English isn't their first language, it might be hard to kind of decipher that. So that is no problem. I'll just send you that in an email. All right, perfect. So always just use number one. That is great. That is super easy. Any other questions for John while we have him here? I'm basically done with the stream. I'm even going to unplug my camera now and everything. I just want to make sure since we have the man here, might as well just hang out for another minute just to double check. Yeah, I think actually I think I could just type this up here. So all right, how do people in the chat like this? You know, I should probably just drag this over so there. So changing the wording to that, would that be a little bit easier? I'm not sure if that's gonna, all right, cool. With the device, for wired controllers, Ash, I would assume that you would still need 2 ports like I used today, and I would not use a hub. Maybe that's not going to skew the results, but it's my nerdy paranoia saying that you probably shouldn't use a hub. You should use 2 ports on your PC. Either my stream is delayed a lot or just my web window is, because it's like at least a full minute between when I did something and when it appeared in the YouTube window. Oh yeah, Ash, good point. Bluetooth might be tricky for syncing. And also, how would Bluetooth affect the results? Now, when I did this testing, I think I talked about this a little bit in one of the podcasts, but when I did the testing with 3 different Bluetooth modules, including Bluetooth 4, Bluetooth 5, 5 point, whatever the new one is, all of the tests were identical using Mister. So that shouldn't skew the results, but who knows? Who knows? But see-through head, I mean, that's a good point, right? So in order to really verify that, I would have to pull out the Mister kit and then a Pi 0 and test the Bluetooth on both to see if there's any difference. Loving this though, really, really loving this. I think it would be, maybe that's something John and Anna should look into, is doing something like the Pi 0, getting a cheap screen, and just assembling a couple of kits from AliExpress parts, pre-flashing them, and then just selling them as complete lag testing kits. How many of us nerds would buy one? A lot. I think a lot. I think it's at least 100. Good point with the Bluetooth adapters. That does raise the cost quite a bit, though. I think that's about it for me today. Anybody else have any questions before I go, or should I just call it and just go back to working on the weekly podcast and stuff? All right, well, that's it. Thank you all for everything. Thanks for hanging out. This is an awesome project that I'm very excited about. I just want to get a couple of things ironed out, and I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Jared, how to submit results from your own testing? Just run through it, and it'll automatically submit. So when I ran through in this screen that you see right here, when I finished, it just asked me to do that. It just, do you want to upload your results? So, not a problem. Yeah, see-through head. If you have the ability to test any of this stuff, and especially if you feel like making any kind of customizations, all you need to do is use that. So. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you all. Thanks, John. And I will see you all very soon. This was a blast, and I can't wait to see where this project goes. So.